What's up, everyone, and welcome to Clear Talk. In today's video, I wanted to kind of lighten things up a little bit since the past couple of videos have been a little more on the serious side. And so I've been thinking all day about doing a video on video games. All right, video games have been a big part of my life since childhood, even up to today. And what was so interesting about that is that on my way home from work, the second trailer for the Super Mario Brothers movie that's coming out in April dropped in a Nintendo Direct, and so I have already seen it. I watched it on the way home, but it's a great trailer. The movie looks fantastic. I have it queued up. I wanted to actually show it and talk about it a little bit more in depth. So this is not a first time reaction or anything, but even if it was, you would probably just see me go and that would have been it. So I am actually, since I've already seen it, I'll be able to talk about it a little bit. But we see way more in this trailer than we did in the first trailer, and so we'll talk about that. And then after that, if we get through the trailer for the Mario movie and stuff, then I'm gonna talk about video games in my life and the history and how that is well, just basically been how big of a part of it has been of my life. So, but first off, if you are liking the content that I have here, please consider subscribing, and if you would also click the bell and stuff, and you will get notifications for the videos as soon as they drop. And like, share, and please comment things that you like about the video or don't like, or ideas for new videos. Let's start a conversation. It doesn't matter. Drop a comment and let's get talking. So anyway, let's get this queued up here. So like I said, I've already seen the trailer. We get to see way more. The first trailer was good and showed the graphics quality, the rendering for what characters we did see: Bowser, Mario, even Luigi a little bit at the very end. It was really good. It first introduced Mario's voice with we got to hear Chris Pratt as Mario, even though it was very short-lived, his interpretation for Mario, which I think had some pretty up and down, like, you know, good and bad reactions to. I personally didn't think it was that big of a deal. I thought he actually did it was okay. Like, it wasn't like, oh my God, that's awesome, but at the same time, it wasn't like, that's horrible or anything. So I thought it was actually, I thought it was decent. I know, not a bad job. But in this trailer, we get to see a whole lot more of his voice and stuff for Mario, along with Anya Joy Taylor's interpretation of Peach, and I can't remember the guy's name, but the one who is voicing Luigi. We get to hear Luigi, and some more of Jack Black with Bowser. So it's really, really interesting. So what I want to do is play it, and we'll talk about it. All right, here we go.
All right, let's go.
See, even that right there, the fact that he implemented in the "let's go," like, it wasn't like the high-pitched version that we typically maybe hear in videos, like "let's go" or whatever like that. No, but that wasn't really I don't think the intent there. In that particular moment, it was supposed to be a little bit dramatic and intense. So I thought that was pretty good. The lower range was good. But the fact that he even implemented that in his voice, I thought was pretty cool. It's something that we didn't really get in the first trailer. So anyway, let's continue. Seth Rogen was Donkey Kong.
Not sure if you know who I am, but I'm about to rule the world.
Wow, yay!
But there's one problem. There's a human, has a mustache, just like you.
Do you think I know every human being with a mustache wearing an identical outfit with a hat with the letter of his first name on it? Because I don't.
Bowser is coming. Together, we are going to stop that monster. How?
Anya as Peach, I actually think is not bad. I would have thought Peach would have a little bit of a higher pitch, but there again, it's kind of like with Mario. I mean, it doesn't really matter. This is for a little bit more of a mature, I guess, look at it. You know, I mean, Peach is supposed to be more of an adult, right? So, I mean, why would you really have a high pitched voice, anyways? So I think this is taken more in a realistic idea, really, and also you got to think of the audience. Most of Mario audience is my age, you know, or roundabouts within 10 years or so of my age. So as far as like what we grew up with Mario, so I mean, I think it's actually great. I think she sounds great. So and this little this little bar here is kind of cute. Let me back up for a second.
That monster.
How? Look at us. We're adorable.
I got this. No problem. Yes!
The fact that they're implementing in game features and stuff, like, it's not just like they thought, and you'll see more, or you'll see more of this. Let's just keep going.
Come on, Mario! Our big adventure begins now!
Ah! Get it off! Get it off! Get it off!
There's a huge universe out there. With a lot of galaxies. They're all counting on us. No pressure.
Mario Kart. That's what I'm talking about. They have thought everything through with this movie. You even get the woohoo! I thought it was great. Hold on, let's go back and watch that again. I didn't quite go back far enough.
Wahoo!
So, yeah, that was it. I know I'm acting like a kid in a candy store, right? But I'm so excited for this movie. I'm excited for my son to see this movie. You know, this is the Mario movie I think that everybody has been waiting for years. Any Nintendo Mario fan, I think this is going to be an absolutely fantastic movie. And wow, got some storms coming through, so it's raining. Don't know if you can hear that, but yeah, it is. That is awesome. I think I'm so ready for it. So yeah, that was the video for the second trailer from Super Mario Brothers. I remember growing up with Super Mario and Nintendo. I mean, video games. I was born in '82, so I am kind of that end of Gen X and millennial kind of area. I think to a degree, some try to say that I'm millennial. I don't really feel like a millennial, but I'm kind of in that in between. But I grew up in the era of video gaming, like evolution, and from back in the Atari age to Nintendo to what we have now with the PCs and all your Xboxes, PlayStations, and the 3D, and insane graphics. So I've seen this. I've been able to go through this, growth and see how it has evolved over the time, which is something that I really think is I get a good perspective of, where my kids, they've only been seeing it really in 3D and stuff, since like I guess the earliest maybe GameCube. So even though I do have a 64 and I have let my son and stuff play it, and sort of he would see how it back then. And with my Switch, we have the online stuff, so he's gotten to play some stuff from regular Nintendo and Super Nintendo as well. So he's gotten to, I've exposed him to those things, but he doesn't get to grow up with it, right, and get to see it evolve like I did. So that is great. I never had an Atari. We had some kind of a gaming system that was similar to the Atari. I can't remember what it was. But the first major gaming system I got was a Super Nintendo. And I think I talked about this in my first introducing myself. But my cousin had the regular Nintendo. I had a Super Nintendo. Big games on there. One of the best Mario games. I mean, arguably, hands down, Super Mario World. I played the hell out of that game. Like that was the game that started my really kind of an obsession of 100%ing games, because I played that game like till I had everything open and everything was done. Like, there was nothing else that could be done with the game, and that was the first game that I really did that with. And then going on to 64 with Mario 64, I did the same thing with it. I even had the booklet that showed me and told me how to get the stars and stuff like that or whatever, but I didn't just use it for everything, and I only used it for ones that I just could not find or was having troubles with, and I would just get like a little hint out of it and be like, oh, okay, I don't want to know anymore, I mean, figure it out. Yeah, so, and on let's see, what else was big on Super Nintendo? I had Madden. I can't remember which one. Oh, and big ones. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Turtles in Time. I played that. I don't know how many hours I put into that game, over and over and over again. And taking even when I would go over to my grandmother's, I would take my Super Nintendo with me to my grandmother's and play it there, like hours at a time. And me and my cousins would do that. We would bring, like, he would bring his regular Nintendo, I'd bring my Super Nintendo, and we just play back and forth with them. Yeah, and I had some other kind of like combat basketball game or something like that on there, but that was, it was all right. Then I had the Super Nintendo when it come out, and that was like, I mean, not the Super Nintendo, the 64, the Nintendo 64 when it come out, that was like a big evolution in gaming at the time. I mean, the 3D rendering and stuff like that, that was just like mind-blowing when it came out. And of course, Super Mario 64 was first on the list, along with Cruising USA. That was a big one. So I played, like I said, 64 to the Mario 64 till I had it 100% completed. Cruising USA, I played it till I basically had it pretty much 100% completed. I don't think I could have done more on it either. Opened up everything. I think I even knew some cheats and stuff to open up other cars, like cars that weren't supposed to be playable, that you could play, like the police cars and I'm blanking, fire truck and stuff like that. Like you could play with almost any car in the game. And then what I had Madden 64 on that as well. Played that a lot. That was the one game I could get my dad on, and although oftentimes we would, he hated it when I get upset and I'd throw the controller. That was like his ending time. And then I'd sit here and do the same thing with my son. I'm like, chill out, it's just a video game. Yeah, so those were big on there. I also had Beetle Adventure, like the Beetle car adventure game. That was a pretty cool game. I don't think I ever 100%ed that one, but yeah, that was big then. and that took me pretty much through my teenage years, and then from there I was big heavy in PCs, because PCs were always a big part. We had a computer at I was pretty young age as well, and I went to college for computers and stuff, so I was really big in PC in my older teenage and early adulthood. Got really big in PC gaming. Had I built PCs and stuff for myself. The PC that I'm currently on was built by me. It's been rebuilt a couple of times actually. And I'm big into gaming, from Call of Duty to Assassin's Creed, Dead Space. I mean, all your big ones. Crisis. I was huge when that come out, man. The toll that put on your computer, man. I mean, I had the dual video cards set up, not the best, but what I could afford. But yeah, that was the big, like the top end of me with gaming in that era, and a lot of other games in there as well. I was a big what is it? Need for Speed. Goodness gracious, Need for Speed. Big on that. My absolute favorite, hands down, and this is probably going to be controversial for some of you video gamers, but Underground 2. Underground 2 was the best Need for Speed game, period, ever. I will argue that one up and down. It was the largest game, I think, that they ever did, and had the best online. That was the only game the first and only really game that I played online, like, heavily. The drag online was top notch. Yeah, that game was phenomenal. Most Wanted after that was really good as well. It just did not have as good of online play. But I would put that one number 2. And then from there, it's just kind of a hit and miss. Carbon was okay. I played a few other ones. I haven't played some of the newer ones, but anyway. But yeah, that game was really big for me. I was never an online gamer, though. That was the only game I really played online a lot. Call of Duty was, for me, just single player. I played the campaign, and that was it. I tried the online stuff, and I just couldn't get into it. And then after Call of Duty went to more of the modern stuff, I actually stopped playing it. I played the first, I think, Modern Warfare, and I think maybe Modern Warfare 2. And the first Black Ops, but then after that, I didn't really care for it. I wish they would have I wanted them to go back to the original games. Same with Assassin's Creed. Once Desmond was dead, I didn't care for the Assassin's Creed anymore. It kind of pissed me off. Now I think they're trying to bring that back now, and I do kind of look forward to the new Assassin's Creed. But anyway, so yes, then goes. I skipped the GameCube, going back to Nintendo. I'm a big Nintendo fan. I never had a PlayStation, never had an Xbox. I'm sorry, Xbox and PlayStation fanboys. I just didn't. It was Nintendo and PC. But so I had a Wii, though. That was the big era there. When Wii come out, that was I got one. That was my next big one. And I even at small short period at the end of having the Wii, I had it actually cracked a little bit with a key thing so that I could burn and play games that I didn't want to buy. Sorry, but I did. And then going on from that, we did get a Wii U. It's still here. In my son's room, and he plays it from time to time when he wants to dive back into some of the games that we have on there that we don't have on the Switch. The Wii U obviously was not as good. Even though it's actually not really bad as a system, it just didn't get a lot of support for games. But I was a little late coming to the Nintendo Switch, though. It was out for probably like 2 years before I actually got one. But once we did, we completely fell in love with it. My son loves it. I love it. I have more games on that console than I have ever had on any console, even on PC. It is loaded with games, and everything from of course Mario Odyssey, which going back, Mario Galaxy was also great. That was a fantastic game, probably arguably one of the best games ever of Mario. I never did finish Galaxy 2, although a lot of people say that it was better than 1, and I would love to have them. I wish they would put it out on the Switch so that I could play it and finish it. And hopefully they will eventually, because I would love to go back and play that game. But Odyssey was fantastic. I kind of hope they do Odyssey 2, but I don't know if that's going to happen. Zelda Breath of the Wild, masterpiece. That was the first Zelda game. I'm sorry, I know that sounds weird for being a Nintendo fan, but that was the first Zelda game that I actually played. I tinkered with Zelda before a couple of times on the Wii, and I think back maybe on the original Nintendo a little bit, but I never clicked with it. It just wasn't my RPG. Wasn't really my thing back then. I'm more into it now. Yes, Breath of the Wild is phenomenal game, and I can't wait for Tears of the Kingdom when it comes out later in May, I think it is, next year. And hope that it runs in as well as everybody's hoping it does on the Switch, even though the Switch is starting to age a little bit. Yeah, that Doom Eternal, that was a great game. Immortal Phoenix Rising, all these games, like they're fantastic games on the Switch. Recently my son got me into Fortnite, so Fortnite's become big in this household now. I never really thought I'd get into Fortnite. I tried it early on when it come out, and I just wasn't into it. The building aspect and stuff just threw me, and I just couldn't get into it. It felt too similar to Call of Duty, I guess, online a little bit, and I never got into that. So it just and plus the building on top of that just really just seemed chaotic. But since they have Zero Build now, and I got into it and got to understanding the game, and I've played it quite a bit now for a couple months, and I'm hooked on it. I ain't gonna lie. Yeah, gaming has been a big part of my life. I wouldn't say that it has kept me dormant inside, really. I was still outside a lot as a kid. I loved going out and playing, shooting basketball, throwing the football, or whatever. You know, I got outside plenty. Even my son, he gets outside plenty. Yeah, he plays a lot of video games, and I do too still. But we still get outside and shoot hoops and or throw the football or whatever. You know, maybe not as much as we probably should. I don't know, but we still do. But video games has been a huge part of my life, and I think they're great. I think they're good mental practice, and even like if even physically, you know, paying attention to detail, connection between your fingers and what you see, and things like I think it's a mental practice, and it really improves cognitive processing and stuff like that. I think that's taken out a lot of times from people who just straight up hate on video gaming, whether it's due to a particular game of violence or something like that, and they want to just hone in on that and make that like the crux of all video gaming or something, or keeping kids in the house or whatever like that and making that a big deal. But I think it actually does very well. I think it even has helped Tyler vocally and learning and increasing his vocabulary, like playing stuff like Breath of the Wild and stuff, where there's a lot of reading. And yeah, he skips over some of it, but he actually does sit and read quite a bit of it. So I think that's, you know, it engages him in a way that allows him to explore and something that's interesting, you know, outside of just reading a book, you know. And nothing against, you know, some people who love reading books, and I wish I was more into it. I have read some books, but it's very few and far between. I'm just not a big reader. And for people who just are like me and can't, you know, just can't really just sit and read, you know, I guess I probably have some type of ADHD or something, like a small smidge that never really got diagnosed. I can't sit like that. Like, I can sit and play a video game, but I can't really just sit and read. Like, it's hard for me to get into that. But so for people like me, I think video gaming is that thing that can, you know, keep you interested, and you can also learn and increase, you know, mental, you know, whatever. I think it actually is good. So so don't hate on video games. So anyway, that's enough for this video. And I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed the trailer earlier. I'm really excited for the movie. I'm always excited for gaming in general. It has been a big part of my life, and I will probably be in my 60s and 70s still like playing games. I don't know. But anyways, thank you very much for sticking around. And like I said before, if you like this content, please consider subscribing and all that other stuff. So until next time, all right, clear talk.